It is Tuesday, January 2nd, and this is The National.
Tonight, Iran is trying to stop the world from seeing images like this, protests throughout the country. We reveal why that won't work.
2 little boys missing in the dark, in the bitter cold. How a BC community came together to find them.
But we begin with a Canadian man who was once held hostage in Afghanistan, facing serious charges here at home. You may remember Joshua Boyle and his wife, Caitlin Coleman. They were taken hostage by the Taliban and held for 5 years. During that time, they had 3 kids. Their rescue last fall by Pakistani forces made international headlines. Tonight, though, Joshua Boyle faces 15 counts, including sexual assault. Katie Simpson has the details on the charges.
Police arrived at Joshua Boyle's apartment around 11 o'clock on Saturday night. Neighbors say officers searched the perimeter with flashlights before going door to door to ask questions.
I just came out because my dogs barked, and I saw the policeman, and I asked what was going on, and they didn't answer. They didn't tell me anything.
Court documents show he's now facing 15 charges, including assault, sexual assault, unlawful confinement, uttering threats, public mischief, and causing someone to take a noxious substance. Not much else can be reported because of a publication ban to protect the identity of the alleged victims. But Boyle's lawyer tells CBC News his client is presumed innocent and he's never been in trouble before, adding, "We look forward to receiving the evidence and defending him against these charges." The alleged offences took place, according to the documents, sometime between Boyle's return to Canada and December 30th.
The reason that we were kidnapped.
Boyle's family has spoken publicly about the challenges they face after surviving 5 years as hostages. They've done a range of interviews, including one as recently as Friday with the BBC since settling back in the Ottawa area. They also sat down for a private meeting with Prime Minister Justin Trudeau in his office, but few details have been made available of what they discussed. For now, Boyle is being held in an Ottawa jail, with a brief court hearing set to take place tomorrow. Katie Simpson, CBC News, Ottawa.
Now, Boyle and his American wife, Caitlin, were kidnapped while backpacking in Afghanistan's Wardak province, a Taliban stronghold.
I'm not sure I ever did want to go to Afghanistan any more than I wanted to do other things in life.
During more than 5 years in captivity, Boyle says his family was moved between 23 different locations near the Afghanistan-Pakistan border, often in the trunk of a car and frequently drugged with the anesthetic ketamine. They were held in huts, abandoned homes, underground dungeons. Coleman had 3 children while being held captive, and Boyle says his wife was raped by their abductors.
They will take reprisals on our family. They will execute us, women and children included.
Their captors said the family would be held until the Afghan government stopped killing Taliban prisoners. But it was a rescue operation by Pakistani military this past October that finally led to their release.
The men who have made all of this possible has actually made our second day even better than our first day of tasting freedom.
Adrian, we've been watching those protests in Iran as they grow for days now, and so, as it turns out, is the U.S. government.
You bet, Rosie. The Americans, clearly seem to sense some political opportunity here. Iranians, as you know, heading into their 7th day of these deadly anti-government demonstrations. Those are protesters clashing with soldiers on the streets and tearing down posters of the country's supreme leader. Since Thursday, at least 21 Iranians have died in clashes. Hundreds more have been detained. But as Paul Hunter explains, those protesters are gaining more support from a loud and powerful voice.
Choose your place in Iran tonight and you'll find rage. In the modern capital, Tehran, of course, but now as well in city after city after city. Iranians angry there are no jobs, blaming a corrupt government, challenging leadership they find infuriating. Iranian security forces have hit back hard, but demonstrators, undeterred, continue to target not just political symbols, but even those of Iran's supreme leader. Ayatollah the murderer, they shout. It's a remarkable time in Iran, prompting the Ayatollah himself today to respond, blaming the violence on enemies of Iran. And though he didn't mention the U.S., Donald Trump weighed in anyway, backing Iranians who, by the way, at the same time, fall under Trump's ban on travel to America, tweeting, "The people of Iran are finally acting against the brutal and corrupt Iranian regime. The U.S. is watching." Though, despite Trump's words, it's not as if Iranians haven't protested before. Massive demonstrations followed the disputed elections in 2009. Back then, the Obama administration was criticized for failing to do more for the protesters. Today, Trump's ambassador to the United Nations said she'll soon call for a UN emergency session on Iran.
The people of Iran are crying out for freedom. All freedom-loving people must stand with their cause. The international community made the mistake of failing to do that in 2009. We must not make that mistake again.
The White House today stopped short of calling for regime change, but laid out its view on what Donald Trump wants from Iran.
I think the ultimate end game would be that the citizens and the people of Iran are actually given basic human rights, and he'd certainly like to see them stop being a state sponsor of terror.
Offering support, but leaving things in the hands and fury of those on the streets of Iran, for now. Paul Hunter, CBC News, Washington.
The Trump administration also called on Iran to unblock social media accounts the protesters are using to organize. But like hugging the wrong diplomat, mentioning Instagram may just make the situation worse, painting a bigger target on the app. Social media is a big part of life in Iran. So the question is, can the government really stop the sharing of information? The Iranian government would prefer imagery like this not get out. That's why Instagram and Telegram were banned. But the world sees what it does because tech-savvy Iranians find workarounds. They're strategic because the government is. Look at a map of Iranian web traffic over the last few weeks. Nothing stands out since the protests. No wholesale shutdown or blockage. Internet freedoms researcher Masa Ali Mardani says assaults are precise.
It seems like they're focusing on the mobile operators because that's how people, they're out on the streets and they're connected from the streets as opposed to being at home and being connected.
So by going after mobile operators, then does that sort of stop people from trying to organize on the streets or report what's happening on the streets?
Yeah, I think it might be a little bit of both.
Ali Mardani, fiercely protective of net freedom, says all Iranians, even the elderly, are steady users of basic internet security for their own safety, using virtual private networks that fake an IP address to make it look as if you're in another part of the world, and Tor, which bounces addresses around to confuse. These tools help, but increasingly, the government is going after them too. Iranians are sending out real-time reports of what is getting shut down, and developers globally are responding. How are they responding?
They see, this version of my software is now being targeted by Iran, so I need to develop a new version for Iranians to use.
And is this happening quickly? I mean, are people seeing a report, on a Tuesday morning and working through the afternoon and the evening to get an update?
Yeah, I think their developers are working on providing these tools.
Subversion is always dangerous, but for those worried Iran will go dark, Ali Mardani says have a little faith in Iranian ingenuity.
I think the information will flow. I'm not worried about that. Things might get more restricted. I'm confident Iranians are going to find ways around it.
Their will is to find a way. Now, Donald Trump was back on Twitter again tonight, once again threatening nuclear war with North Korea, writing, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un just stated that the nuclear button is on his desk at all times. Will someone from his depleted and food-starved regime please inform him that I, too, have a nuclear button, but it is a much bigger and more powerful one than his, and my button works. So just let that sink in for a moment. Andrew, I know you're going to be keeping an eye out for reaction to that and more tweets tonight, I suspect. But now you're looking at the impact of all those extreme cold temperatures that so much of the country's dealing with.
Yeah, that's right, Adrian. There was a miscommunication in Toronto about whether homeless shelters were full. An investigation's been launched into that. And with those frigid temperatures, complete strangers stepped up, arranging hotel rooms with their own money.
People could freeze out here in a very short period of time, and we live in one of the wealthiest cities on the planet. And if we cannot take care of the people who can't take care of themselves, who will?
Now, though, outreach workers and activists are demanding answers and accusing the city of fudging the numbers to save money on beds they don't use. Ali Chiasson explains.
Toronto's shelter system is overburdened. City politicians know it. People like James here live it.
Very stressful, very stressful.
To keep his cot at this winter respite site requires dedication.
You have to be in on around 6:45 after supper to sign in for a bed. There's 30 beds.
Otherwise, he runs the risk of being out in the cold again.
Yeah, we had a couple nights outside. Yeah, park, Massey down the hall, Massey Hall down under the concrete.
City officials say Toronto's 62 shelters are at 94% capacity, but now communication breakdowns between those looking for shelter and those helping find it for them have raised serious questions. This is activist Doug Johnson. Yesterday, he called the central intake to ask if there were beds available at the city's newest emergency shelter.
They're filled up at the Better Living Center?
Yeah.
There's no place for me to go tonight except for down to Pierce Street to sleep in the lobby there?
At the moment, yes.
We walked down there, and the Better Living Center said they could take people.
The experience was enough for Johnson to accuse the city of penny pinching, saying that the city pays third-party run shelters a per diem for the beds that are filled, not the ones that sit empty.
They don't release a bed, then they don't have to pay for it.
There's no intentional gaming of the system there.
The city's general manager of shelter support shot down that idea. He says if people need space, they'll get it.
It's very dynamic, so those beds fill and become empty regularly through the 24-hour period.
The city's ombudsman Ann Raftis are vowing to figure out what went wrong in these frigid few days, and councillors want answers too.
On that issue, the communication piece, I think the activists have a good point. There is a lot at stake here, and this is why the emotions are so high now.
Emotions are high. The stakes of being turned away are even higher. Ask James.
And they'll leave you in there for a half hour or whatever to warm up, and then they'll give you a token and try to send you somewhere to get a bed, right? But yeah, it's really hard, really hard.
Ali Chiasson, CBC News, Toronto.
We want to tell you a bit more now about how volunteers ended up shining a big, bright spotlight on the shelter problems in Toronto, simply because they wanted to help their neighbors stay warm.
I was on Twitter at about 11:30 on the 30th of December. Saw that one of the intake centers had posted that they had nowhere to give people to go, and reached out to my network and said, listen, I'll pay for a hotel room if others can contribute. We might be able to cover some people for the night. And over the past couple of days, over 100 and I think we're at 136 pledges now have come in of rooms. And we've gotten 18 people into rooms over the past couple of days, and it's been amazing to see what's happened.
One of those people in Jennifer Evans' network put her in touch with a local restaurant owner who remembered the many people who helped get him on his feet when he came to Canada from Lebanon 18 years ago. Mohammed Faki paid for the bulk of those first hotel rooms. The two strangers found they shared a similar sense of gratitude.
I'm warm. I have food. I have the ability to know that I'm going to wake up in the morning with a roof over my head. And there are dozens of people who not only don't have that, don't know if they're going to be able to stay inside tonight. And that's just inexcusable.
Now, the group says they're not sure how long the hotels will be needed, but they say they'll check in every day. Now, one silver lining here is that the number of Canadians using emergency shelters has been declining over the years. Almost 20,000 fewer people are using them in 2014 compared to a decade earlier. But there's still an incredible strain on the system. On average, emergency shelters in Canada operate at more than 90% capacity. Meantime, on New Year's Eve, sub-zero temperatures put the lives of 2 little boys in BC's interior in very grave danger. Police and search and rescue volunteers scrambled after the parents noticed their young sons were missing. It happened in Vernon, about a 5-hour drive northeast of Vancouver, far from the urban homeless, but face-to-face with exposure in the wild. Briar Stewart tells us what happened next.
It's over there. Here? Yeah.
Lee Pearson and Daniel Hoekstra are back where they spent a very tense New Year's Eve. It began with a phone call to Vernon Search and Rescue saying 2 boys were missing.
Not quite the panic button, but close to it, especially when I heard that they were so young, 5 and 7 years old.
Especially considering the conditions, it was -18 and the area was hilly and dense with trees. Searchers headed out into the night. Hoekstra was on a snowmobile and went down a trail until it came to an end.
We hopped off our snowmobiles and we had a look around and we found one set of child's boot prints in the snow. We yelled out their names and we could hear a very faint scream or cry back to us.
They walked for another 150 meters into the bush until they found them.
Both boys were hypothermia, really, really cold. The youngest boy couldn't walk, so we had to carry him out.
His feet were frozen because he had taken off his boots when he got snow in them. The older boy then told the rescuers just how they got lost in the first place.
They went out into the bush to get some wiener sticks for a roast they were having, and they saw a deer, and they just started chasing after the deer.
By then, the boys had been outside for more than 3 hours. As they headed back down the trail, Hoekstra radioed the command post with the good news.
Family and all the neighbors were there, and I just announced that we'd found them, and everybody just started crying. It was a very emotional time, and for us too. There was lots of searchers with tears in their eyes too.
Nice work, guys. Thanks.
It was still hours from midnight, but it was a New Year's Eve celebration they won't ever forget. Briar Stewart, CBC News, Vancouver.
So we can tell folks that the boys are home safe tonight, but boy, it can be disorienting to be out in that kind of extreme cold for that long.
Yeah, and I have to say, given all those hard things that the search and rescue workers see every day on nights like that, that is going to be sort of rocket fuel for them for the next little while, knowing that, you know, sometimes it does end well.
Lucky, lucky boys, that's all I have to say.
Indeed, and still ahead on the National. Small movements, huge impact. We'll show you the technology that let this mother and daughter have their first conversation in 21 years.
Plus, democracy, peace, and regular citizens were threatened around the world by hackers in 2017, and it could be worse this year. I recently sat down with an international panel to talk about that. Our conversation is just ahead.
And a cross-country tour with an unusual religious relic. David Common finds out what it takes to travel with, yes, that is an arm. An arm.
Someone's going to ask. Other passengers are going to say, what is that?
What's with the,
what do you say then?
Well, we'll tell them, of course. We'll tell them, you know, this is an extraordinary opportunity for Canada.
You can't just sit back and play with your own little world. There are other worlds out there. Lots of them. And you can't just ignore them or brush them aside. You see, the world you know is really made up of lots of other worlds, and all of them have their own problems, which, in fact, become your problems. And worlds aren't made up simply of problems. Good things happen, exciting things, and they all affect you. The thing is to understand what's happening. And to understand, you have to have a complete and comprehensive view of matters. And where to get this information? It's easy. The National News, nightly, on CBC Television. So welcome other worlds into your life. It's almost fun. The National News.
5 nights a week in the national newsroom of CBC Television, the stories come in from all parts of the world to be interpreted and prepared for use on The National. The facts are checked and the backgrounds gathered. On-the-spot reports are collected. Then the films and the tapes are evaluated and edited, readied for the air. CBC's correspondents in all corners of the world report and interpret the news. Wherever things are happening, you'll get the complete information right here on CBC Television.
I'm Warren Davis. Those are just some of the things that go into The National. Join me.
On The National tonight, a devastating scene in Peru after a coach bus plunged off a cliff, killing at least 36 people. It happened north of Lima on a notoriously dangerous stretch of road called the Devil's Curve. Officials say it appears the bus collided with another vehicle and then fell off the cliff onto the beach below.
Like all these vehicles. Oh, man.
Some bad winter weather made for a deadly day on the roads in New York State. The massive pileup you see here happened on a major highway near Buffalo. One person was killed and another was critically injured. Officials say about 24 vehicles were directly involved in that crash. Meanwhile, in BC's Fraser Valley, crews are still working tonight to restore power to everybody. It's been 5 days since a series of ice storms knocked out electricity right across the region. At the worst of it, more than 100,000 customers were in the dark. BC Hydro says it hopes to have the lights on by late tonight, but today has also brought new power outages. As of right now, it's a work in progress.
We admire him. It's like having a hero. It's like having the Stanley Cup come to your Timbits tournament or something. Like, the Stanley Cup is coming to us. So it's someone we've admired so much. He's so cool.
Who is she talking about? No, he's not a rock star or a movie star or even a sports star. Francis Xavier is a real saint, and he's about to embark on a tour of Canada. Well, a small, well-preserved part of him is anyway. Our David Common has more on this centuries-old human relic set to draw crowds right across this country.
It's not every day your patron saint comes for a visit. Inside this duffel bag, at least some of that patron saint. This is Francis Xavier's right arm. In Canada for the very first time, 465 years after he died.
Where's the rest of them?
Goa, India.
Goa, India?
Yes.
Why there?
Well, that's the main place he did his ministry.
Angèle Renier knows all about St. Francis.
Take a moment and ask for the powerful intercession.
Her Catholic Christian outreach organization engineered this visit.
Who is somehow mysteriously present to us.
The arm, a relic for the Catholic faithful, considered uncorrupted from normal decomposition. A testament, they say, to Xavier's exceptionalism. The arm has only left its home in Rome a handful of times. And if you wonder how a patron saint flies, well, this time it's by Air Canada. The relic picked up by the Archbishop of Ottawa.
I mean, it's remarkable that it's in the condition that it's in.
Yeah. And people are fascinated by it. And some are repelled by it, and some are attracted by it.
Archbishop Prendergast understands if not everyone wants to see the arm up close. But as it begins a rare tour of Canada, 75,000 people are expected. And that makes it very valuable.
Well, we have to keep watch over it. We also have to make sure that it doesn't get damaged or stolen. We have it insured for that.
Like, how do you fly?
Well, the relic itself will have its own seat on the plane, from what I understand, beside me.
It'll be Darcy Murphy's job to watch over it.
How do you explain carrying part of his body as opposed to just reading about him in a book?
I think what's cool about it is it's that physical encounter. So it's more than just reading about him. It's something that's still physically present. Like it's literally his arm.
The same arm said to have converted and baptized 100,000 people, mostly in India.
That was very profound because this is the saint that converted my ancestors to Christianity, and if it wasn't for his mission in Goa, I wouldn't be here today in Canada practicing out my Christian values.
To some, this will all seem a bit strange. To others, though, it is a remarkable experience. An emotional one, too. Scene set to repeat as the arm of St. Francis tours this country. David Common, CBC News, Ottawa.
Wow. The relic officially begins its Canadian tour tomorrow in Quebec City's Notre Dame Basilica. Over the next month, though, it will take in 14 towns and cities across 8 provinces, so you might get a chance to see it. Stops will include the university in Antigonish, Nova Scotia, that bears Francis Xavier's name.
As 2018 begins, there are, as you know, dangers lurking in the wider world.
It's extremely profitable. All they have to do is create one little program and just send it out to as many people as they can.
One of those dangers struck for the first time last year, wreaking havoc in several countries, and it's now a much bigger menace. Find out why when our panel reveals what worries them most about the new year.
I can cover myself up a little bit.
Her lawyer is probably the last person Tierney Angus thought she'd be showing her uniform to. Then again, the beer market server never thought the uniform would be a problem. A month ago, the company changed what it wanted servers to wear.
The material is probably comparable to a bathing suit.
Tierney has worked at the restaurant for 3 years. She says the new uniform made it hard to move and to do her job.
It's very tight, it's very skimpy. I went up a size and it still hugs every single inch of my body.
According to Angus, more than 40 women from 4 different locations complained to the company's human resources department with little success.
One of the girls I work with mentioned that you could see her underwear, you could see everything underneath it. And the suggestion by my general manager was that she wear a thong if she didn't want her underwear to show.
That GM works for food giant Cara, which owns Beer Market and a lot of other restaurant chains. Cara tells GoPublic restaurant staff at various locations were closely involved in the selection process, and most of the feedback was very positive. Tierney says all she wanted was a choice.
What's very notable is that the men's uniform is jeans, a button-down shirt, and Converse sneakers. I have one dress, one tight, uncomfortable, skimpy dress that doesn't allow me to move.
The company told workers the uniform change was based on its brand and on industry standards, and not intended to sexualize team members or to discriminate. After GoPublic's inquiries, Cara changed its policy, giving female staff the option of wearing the same uniform as men.
It's sad that we have to fight this battle in 2015.
Angus's lawyer says skimpy uniforms could violate human rights codes.
Just because other employers are doing that, it doesn't mean it's proper and it doesn't mean that it's legal. It just perhaps means that no employee has been brave enough in recent years to take on that case.
Skimpy uniforms may not be unusual, but there are very few examples of employees filing human rights complaints about them. In fact, the most recent example we could find was in BC, and that was back in 2004. Rosa Marcatelli, CBC News, Calgary.
Showing off some skin has moved from the TV screens to the streets and now to the schools.
It's a hot day. It's very hot. A hot day.
too hot for some anxious principals.
You know, it was causing a distraction, there's no question.
She sent home this note. Keep the underwear hidden. No exposed boxer shorts, no wayward bra straps.
I think that we're perverted, like some guy will go, whoa.
From the archives of CBC News.
If a girl should know how to dress for school, I think it's up to them, really. And tight sweaters, well, they're not very good, I don't think. I'd rather see a girl wearing blouses and stuff like that.
Do you enjoy wearing miniskirts?
Yeah.
Well, I don't really prefer them on girls, but also I think it's just that it modernizes the way the girls dress. The skirt rises up when you sit down, so you have to put your books something on your knees or something to hold it down.
I just don't like the idea of them wearing way up here. It looks it's not right.
That was Barbara Emile getting the long and short of the miniskirt story.
School's back all over the country now. Did today's back-to-schoolers reject the dictates of the department stores? Here on What's New, we took a look at how kids actually went back to school this fall, and what we saw were students like these.
You can read a book in jeans, you can go to school in jeans, you can roll down a hill in jeans, you can do whatever you want in jeans.
In the late 60s, there was pressure on the schools to relax dress codes. Shorter skirts, pants for girls, and eventually jeans were allowed for everybody.
The freedom that the children have known for the past 15 years has been just a little bit too much.
The parents have decided to adopt a uniform this year.
The world will inevitably go through some big changes this year, some potentially frightening. None will be isolated to one country or one region, so we have enlisted a little help in breaking down the big issues. Stephanie Carvin teaches at the School of International Affairs at Carleton University. Joseph Wong is a professor at the University of Toronto and Munk School of Global Affairs. And joining us from San Francisco, Jeremiah Grossman, who is Chief of Security Strategy at SentinelOne and a professional hacker. So, you know, Jeremiah, these foreign affairs discussions don't always involve a cybersecurity expert, but it only took a little bit of homework to realize we had to have you on, and here's why. These are just some of the big companies in the last year which were either hacked or had data exposed. The number of people potentially affected, more than 200 million. So, Jeremiah, that was last year. There are all sorts of people predicting this year the cyber threat will be even more acute. What's your read of that?
Absolutely. Every trend that we see in cybersecurity as far as breaches and break-ins is going up. And for the very simple fact that from the adversary's perspective, whether they're nation states or cyber criminals, is this type of crime works, and it works very well.
On a practical level, though, I mean, what's this going to mean for companies and people at home who, you know, might be slightly panicking about their devices?
Well, I hope they wouldn't panic, but there are two types of victims in the world when it comes to cybercrime. You can be either a target of opportunity or a target of choice. Most of us on the internet, and there's about 2 billion people online right now, all of us are going to be a target of opportunity, meaning if our security is a little bit less than normal, we're probably going to get hacked and we're probably going to have some losses. But if you're the large corporations or key individuals, you're going to be a target of choice, and nation states and cyber criminals, they have something, you have something that they want.
Okay, so Stephanie, I mean, I think the obvious question for Canada is what's your sense of how ready this country is?
I think there's consensus that Canada is probably not ready. And, you know, we've seen the government already try to take steps to improve information sharing. And, you know, in the last 2 years, they've conducted a review and a consultation on where the cyber policy should go. But the fact is our cyber policy was brought out in 2010. It's pretty outdated. So in 2018, what we're going to be seeing is the Liberal government has put forward new national security legislation that will actually allow it to defend designated critical infrastructure. And it's also going to be bringing out a new cyber policy that's hopefully going to address some of the things that Jeremiah is talking about. But really, in the end, you know, how this strategy is going to be funded, how it's going to protect, you know, small, medium enterprises, or even the average Canadian citizen remains to be seen, because it is a daunting task.
Okay, so cheerful.
Very cheerful.
Joseph, I mean, when we talk about the cyber threat, I understand the sort of the personal and professional threat, but obviously there's a threat to democracies here too. What's your read of the state of those threats?
Well, I think cyber technology, cyber security is sort of the leading edge of a larger issue of technology, information, and transparency. And so, you know, currently we're in the era of truthfulness, fake news, and so on. And so when you have cybersecurity breaches, invariably people start to wonder, you know, how real is the information we're getting? And if there's anything at the core of democracy, it's about transparent information. And we see the distortion of this. We see it in the United States. We see it all around the world. And we see it in, frankly, very fragile democracies around the world today.
So you're looking at a couple of elections probably this year that are worrying to you?
Elections, but also just day-to-day politics. So, for instance, you know, in Myanmar, we know, the rest of the world knows what's going on now in terms of the Rohingya Muslims. But, you know, when you're in Myanmar, the government will say, look, that's fake news, right? This is distorted news. This isn't really going on, or you don't really have the real story. And in many ways, that's undermining what was once a very promising young democracy.
Right, so that's a real threat.
Mm-hmm.
We cannot talk about cyber attacks without mentioning North Korea. Not long ago, the Hermit Nation was blamed for one of last year's biggest attacks.
After careful investigation, the United States is publicly attributing the massive WannaCry cyber attack to North Korea. The United Kingdom, Australia, Canada, New Zealand, and Japan have seen our analysis, and they join us in denouncing North Korea for WannaCry.
If by chance you forgot what WannaCry is, here's a refresher. Last May, the ransomware infected more than 400,000 machines in 150 countries, locking out and extorting huge businesses like FedEx and shutting down hospitals across the UK's National Health Service. Jeremiah, this one is for you. What is North Korea up to here? Is it just about being obstructionist, or is there more to it?
The first thing to understand is that ransomware, if there's any one particular narrative, ransomware took over in the last year. It's very easy and it's very profitable. And for North Korea, which makes them a little bit different than many other nation states who hack for state-sponsored or national security reasons, North Korea is under sanction and they need to generate revenue. And what the North Koreans seem to have figured out is that they can use cyber criminal tactics like ransomware to generate large amounts of revenue for whatever causes that they see fit.
Is that actually working? I mean, is North Korea actually making good money off this?
It all depends on what good money is. Are they making millions? Absolutely. Are they making billions? It's hard to say, but somewhere in between there. The one thing that we can say for certain is that they're not going to stop, and others are going to continue following suit because it works.
Okay, I guess when we think about the threat from North Korea, it's probably not the cyber threat, it's the nuclear one. So 2018, Joseph, what are we looking at there?
Well, the North Koreans are not going to be slowing down in any way their nuclear development. You know, the thing is, when you're playing the nuclear game, the key is deterrence, right? And in order to have deterrence, you need credible players. And I think in many ways, Kim Jong-un in North Korea doesn't present itself as a credible player. The challenge, however, is that the other player in the game, which is the United States, is increasingly portraying itself as well as not being a particularly credible player. So this is, you know, this is a very dangerous game, and this is why you see experts, prognosticators, you know, predicting anywhere between 30% and 70% chance that this may escalate into some conflict.
And Stephanie, I mean, we talked about deterrence, but I guess when you're talking about a threat like this, it's either you contain it, you negotiate your way out of it, or you attack. What's your sense of which one of those are we talking about the most this year?
I think we're going to be looking at all three, if only because there seems to actually be a division, even within the United States, as to which action they should be taking. For example, you have Rex Tillerson at the State Department who's saying, you know, or seems to be advocating for more diplomacy. On the other hand, you have those who are actually pushing for a strike, including, I think, the president. That seems to be where he wants to take this. And I think, you know, as Joe said, the fact is the chances of war are probably far larger than most people realize.
For sure. Given how the United States is handling this issue so far, others are turning to China. But will it rise to the occasion? We know China is worried. Reports earlier this month cited a leaked document suggesting China is building refugee settlement points near its border with North Korea. The worry, thousands fleeing a possible war. You know, China has not confirmed the camp's existence. Joe, what is China actually expecting? And is it your sense that second question, really. Is it your sense that this is the year that China picks up, possibly from where the United States may leave off in terms of foreign aid and foreign involvement?
Well, it's clear that China is preparing itself for what could be conflict. And this is very telling. I mean, if you think back just I don't know, a decade ago, in the Six Nations talks, the role that China was playing was much more of a diplomatic role, right? We were really leveraging its potential diplomacy. Now what we're thinking about is actually China's on-the-ground role in terms of any sort of military action. This reflects, I think, and this is to your second question, then I think this reflects just a changing worldview within Beijing and with China's role on the global stage, and also how the rest of the world sees China. This is a moment for China. I mean, recently during the APEC summit, President Xi Jinping spoke about free trade, about the global community, about a global commons. The president, on the other hand, spoke about how the world, free trade is important, but, there are some countries that are cheating it and so on. So, from the rest of the world's point of view, China is actually standing up now as a global leader, whereas the United States seems to be retreating from that kind of historical role, at least in the post-war era.
Okay, so we're almost wrapping up here. If I can just note, we've gone through 10 minutes and have not said Donald Trump's name once. Once. I just did. But
right.
Now, if we can, let's turn to a bit of a lightning round.
Yeah.
The left field story that has really got you a bit obsessed. I'm going to jump in and go first here. For me, it's that at the end of 2017, China stopped taking the world's recycling. Right. And that's a big deal. 80% of Halifax's recycling goes to China. Did go to China. 60% of the province of Quebec's recycling. So for me, I'm watching this one because this is going to force a lot of countries in the developed world to decide what to do with their waste. Either find a new buyer for it or maybe a new way of coping with it. I kind of think that that's a decision far away that's going to hit here at home. Mm-hmm. But Jeremiah, can I toss this lightning round to you?
Sure. The one story that I've been looking at is that I spend most of my time in cybersecurity and specifically cybercrime. Over the last 2 years, as we've talked about, ransomware has been taking over, and the way that works is that the extortion is paid in the cryptocurrency called Bitcoin. And there was a very particular ransomware family about 2 years ago that was making between $100,000 and $300,000 per day for 100 days in Bitcoins. That was at a time where Bitcoin was worth under $1,000 per Bitcoin. Today, now those Bitcoin wallets are now worth, rather than hundreds of thousands or hundreds of millions, now they're worth billions. My question is, what happens when cyber criminals have access to billions of dollars in capital to further their campaigns?
Oh, okay, fair enough. Joseph?
So I was recently at a conference in Japan, and the World Bank announced something I thought was really interesting. One of the things that they're keen on doing, actually, is tying together countries' credit ratings with the amount they're investing in health and education. In other words, your credit worthiness is going to be based on your government's commitment to raising the lives and increasing the prosperity of those who are poor. That could fundamentally change how we do global development.
Okay, very quickly, Stephanie. What's yours?
To end on a slightly negative note, I would say Russia is going to be a continuing story in 2018. How are they going to continue to interfere in the elections in the United States in 2018? But also, Canada has taken steps which have certainly angered Vladimir Putin in terms of signing the Magnitsky Act, which put sanctions on his friends, and also now selling lethal arms to Ukraine. So will there be retaliation from Russia in some kind of creative way?
Wow, you're all so optimistic. Thank you very much. Joseph Wong, Stephanie Carvin, Jeremiah Grossman, thank you.
Lots to look forward to indeed. Well, coming up, how a 37-year-old woman trapped in her own body spoke to her mother for the first time in decades. Next on The National.
Technology has grown and it has caught up to her, and now she can shine like that Christmas star. I'm proud of her. She's gonna make it.
Here are some film projectors, the movies. I wonder what it really means, though, to be able to flick a switch and to bring in any part of the world, to see the most personal relationships of mankind acted out before us. It's so easy, isn't it? A handy, instantaneous gadget. The tape recorder. Small, portable, can go and has gone everywhere. India, just a button's push away. Space means nothing. With a record collection, neither space nor time matter. We can, all of us, share in everything from anywhere and any time. Well, back to box day with the flick of a wrist. Fabian, Frankie Avalon, the voice of FDR, Petrushka, the music of Arabia, the sound of a sports car race in Florida. Even the most Puritan among us engages now each and every day in an absolute Roman carnival of the senses. There are new sights, new sounds, new fabrics, new textures. Well, we're all dedicated libertines. And radio. Well, we've heard the sound of symphonies, of riots, and of battles, and all without leaving the living room. And now, radio goes with us to beach parties. Or to the baseball game. And each of us with our own private slice of the modern age. We're never out of touch. And television? Well, I wonder who really knows what it means to have pouring into our homes day after day the cowboys, the rock and roll singers, the statesmen, the philosophers, the whole debate of our modern world. Well, surely our sense of space, of time, of cause and effect must be changing. And our attitudes to life and love, to religion, politics, and leisure, what of them? Oh, I almost forgot. The telephone. We can afford to take it for granted because it's been around so long. Surely, though, our sense of space, of distance, the relationship of person from person no longer means what it did. And you'll notice that the image of the telephone goes with the teenager, because he's the only one completely at home using it. And he uses it all the time. That's annoying, isn't it, to be held up even 5 minutes? Must be a teenager on the other end. Well, there they are. Our new electronic media, or our new gadgets. You push a button, and the world's yours. You know how they talk about the world getting smaller? Well, it's thanks to these that it is. Everywhere is now our own neighborhood. We know what it's like to go on safari in Kenya, or to have an audience with the Pope, to order a cognac in a Paris cafe. But not only is the world getting smaller, it's becoming more available and more familiar to our minds and to our emotions. The world is now a global village. A global village.
Because she was trapped in her body, and I knew that right after the accident. She knows now what she has to do.
Joellen Huntley suffered catastrophic brain damage in a car accident more than 2 decades ago. Since 1996, she's relied on others for her most basic needs. She's unable to speak or write. But Huntley's silence is beginning to lift. Tom Murphy explains how.
I saw you looking at your snowboard.
It's all in the eyes. See those tiny movements? A special camera on Joellen Huntley's tablet tracks them. The white dot, that represents the reflection from her eyes. The software reads their movement, matches it with the pre-programmed images.
What do you want to wear today, Joe?
For more than 21 years, Joellen has not spoken. Now this.
I want to wear a long-sleeved shirt.
It's what Joellen Huntley's family believes is finally meaningful communication.
I put a song on and I danced around the computer with a chair with her.
Joellen Huntley was a teenager when she suffered severe brain injury in a car accident back in 1996. Trapped in her own body, Joellen's speech pathologist believes she now has a voice.
For right now, she's using pictures to communicate. There are alphabet boards built into her system where she could eventually go in and spell a specific message on her own or choose a pre-programmed message.
Here's the thing. This isn't the first time that perseverance has paid off for Joellen Huntley and her family. Just a few years ago, they had to go to court to battle the provincial government when it tried to claw back the insurance payments of close to $1.5 million. They said it was to compensate taxpayers who pay for her care. After public outrage, the province dropped the case and negotiated a confidential deal with the family. Some of that money went to buy this technology. which has been around for about a decade and has been used by patients across Canada.
She's shooting for the stars. Anything's possible now.
It's not clear how much more it will help Joellen, but hope is a word people around here are using a lot these days. Tom Murphy, CBC News, Waterville, Nova Scotia.
It was one of last summer's major Canadian stories, the flood of asylum seekers crossing into Quebec from the United States. Over 20,000 made the journey by year's end, and it seems all those new arrivals could prove to be a boon. Quebec is facing a major labor shortage. As Alison Northcott reports, all those asylum seekers could help plug up some of the gaps.
For François Bonheur, this is part of building a new life in Canada. He's applying for a job, one of nearly 100 recent asylum seekers at this recruiting session for a meat processing company held at Montreal's Haitian Community Centre.
If I have some money, I buy the house, you know. I want to take care of bill, whatever, you know. Example, I don't have a car for now, so I need a car, whatever. And then if I'm work, I know I take care of everything.
As they wait for immigration hearings to determine if their refugee claims are accepted, some asylum seekers have gotten work permits from the federal government and are looking to enter the labor market.
It was that more than I thought it would be. We thought 45 had actually confirmed their presence, and so we got double that. They're ready to hit the ground running. They're ready to feel autonomous, empowered.
Quebec is in the midst of a labor shortage, with companies across several sectors searching for workers.
We need 580 people.
And some employers, like the poultry and pork processing company Holemsness, see the recent wave of asylum seekers in Quebec as an opportunity.
They need money, of course, for their living, and they need a work. And if they got a work permit, of course, we're very interested in those people, because they're really motivated, and they really want to work.
The company recently chartered this bus to its turkey plant east of Montreal. On board, about 20 applicants, most of them asylum seekers originally from Haiti, like Junior Amizial. He says he arrived in Canada from the U.S. with no money and is eager to get off of social assistance and start a life for his family here. At the plant, Amizial has his interview, highlighting his experience doing similar work. The jobs on offer at Holemsness plants are full-time permanent positions. The plants are unionized, but the work is hard and can include slaughtering or processing poultry or pork in a cold factory that's often a trek from Montreal. Still, Amizial says he just wants to work.
You have to be very patient.
Some community organizers say they're following the recruitment process closely, recognizing that asylum seekers' uncertain status can make them vulnerable to exploitation.
This is why when we accept to cooperate with the companies is because we are sure that the conditions are good, and the pay is good and the conditions are good.
For Jude Lafortune, the wait for work is over. He was hired at the turkey plant. Lafortune crossed the border from the U.S. into Canada with his family this summer. His second child was born here soon after. I want to contribute, he says, and sees this job as a stepping stone to a life in Canada. But like many others, he has to wait for his immigration hearing to find out if he will be allowed to live and work here long term. Alison Northcott, CBC News, Saint-Jean-Baptiste, Quebec.
The Canadian artist and inventor Bill Lishman died over the weekend at age 78. His name may not really ring a bell, but a lot of people will remember what he did. He taught birds to fly with him and eventually led some to reconnect with their migratory paths. Hollywood told his story in 1996 in the movie Fly Away Home. Here's Bill Lishman in his own words explaining just how he did it.
Actually, I played the sound of the aircraft engine, tape recording to them when they were in the egg, so they were accustomed to that sound right from day one, you might say. Then as they grew up, it's just giving them lots of tender love and care. You talk to them every day and take them for walks, and then when they got big enough to walk a little bit faster, we'd taxi the airplane and they'd run along behind it, and gradually as they evolved their wings, we all flew together. I never thought it was going to work, but today it worked. It was fabulous. I just say I'm an artist. And then they said, what kind of art? I said, well, my lifestyle's my art. And, you know, flying with the birds is a form of art.
Patrick and Abood collect corn leaves. Abood will analyze them in the makeshift field laboratory. This little laboratory on Reibling's farm represents a major change in approach to agricultural research in Canada.
This research cannot be done on an experiment station by specialists. It has to be done on the farm, basically by farmers, with scientists observing and interpreting and then giving feedback to the farmers. So it's a very different approach to the traditional modes of agricultural research. We start in the lab with a test tube and go an experimental plot and then give it to the farmer as a fait accompli. We want to go to the farmer first.
But it's those traditional modes of research that are used by the government. Their approach is to group scientists and research stations across the country. John Nolan disagrees with Patrick's idea of on-farm research.
If the researchers were so dispersed, how could they maintain the contact with other researchers? They're gathered in centres, in laboratories, on experimental farms and stations to create a critical mass of scientific expertise working as a team. They have to be congregated somewhere in a location that encourages that interaction in the team.
Why isn't the government now falling all over itself to help those people that are working on a system that has proven itself to save the soil and to improve things for future generations?
I think the answer to that is because there are so many other priorities to spend the money on. For example, in the area of biotechnology, there is simply such an exciting field opening up for the manipulation of genetic material in a sense, can be seen to reduce the need for as much land. It's interpreted by some people in that light. So it's a question of having the priorities. And we have just so many dollars, and soil and water is struggling to get its share of those dollars.
The government does more than half the agricultural research in Canada. University scientists do the rest. Research is expensive, and chemical companies finance a lot of it, so more chemical research gets done. In the Maritimes, like everywhere else, farmers are now dependent on chemicals. Many would like to change that, but they're stuck.
On the National tonight, Vice Media says it suspended 2 of its top executives over sexual misconduct allegations. One of them is the company's president. It comes after the New York Times published a story about the treatment of women at the company. Vice's chief operating officer said the allegations are being reviewed.
There's it for Howden. He tapped that wide. Collins went back on it. A jam play score.
And with that, Team Canada is off to the next round at the World Junior Championships. They trounced Switzerland today with a final score of 8-2. They face the Czech Republic in semi-final action on Thursday.
The Olympic dream of Canadian skeleton racer Evan Neufeld is back on track tonight. The Saskatoon athlete's $15,000 customized sled vanished en route to Europe last week, leaving Neufeld fearing his lost luggage would mean a lost shot at glory. But tonight, he's smiling again, and it's our moment of the day.
In transfer, I came through Toronto, and the bag just didn't make it to the next flight. So it's not the first time, and it's not the last time. There's so many things. My saddle is specifically built to my rib cage. Like there's a lot of work that goes into fine-tuning over the years the sled to make it your friend. So Air Canada went to work, and within 72 hours they found it, and within the next 12 hours it was in Europe. So quite amazing. I kind of climbed on top of it in its box and just had a big hug. We have one more day of training, so I will make the most of those 2 minutes on the track.
Wow, and here I get upset when the airlines lose my jeans and T-shirts. Never mind my Olympic dreams. So he's pretty level-headed about it.
Yeah, there is no Kijiji for a sled where the saddle fits your rib cage, whatever that means.
No, but he did say that the other guys or the other competitors were lending their sleds, so that's sort of the Olympic spirit already.
There you go.
That's the National for January 2nd. Good night, everyone.
Good night.